Good afternoon. Oh, well, it's good evening right now, everybody. What's up? My name is Chris Simmons. I am the founder of Lamb and Honey and your host for this evening of the Soul Care Sessions. If you haven't already known that the Soul Care Sessions is a safe space for us to come together and talk and have conversations relative to how we get rest and how important it is for us to slow down and recharge and hear from God, and what are those actionable steps we can take to become a better us, right? So, tonight we have Amber Owens with us, aka Amber the Activator, right? She's a friend. You know, we've become besties. No, just
This voice is funny. We'll talk about it in a minute.
right? So, because I know I can get really rah-rah, so I'm trying to keep
Trying to
it,
work up. Mm-hmm.
So listen, I'm gonna let Amber tell us about her, and then we're gonna get into this conversation. So, Amber, tell the people who you are.
All right, y'all. So I don't have a super quiet voice like her, so super soft, super just everything. But like she said, I am Amber, the Activator Owens. I am the founder and CEO of Brand for Activation, which is an experience or experiential marketing company. And I am the visionary behind ActivateLIVE, which is a no-bull conference and trade show for business owners and decision makers to get to their next stage of success.
Come on with the pitch. Yes, friend.
I try.
Yes. Okay, so I ask everybody these first couple of questions because I
Mhm.
just want to know where everybody is, how you feel, it's the check in, right?
Okay.
So I want to know, what does self care mean to you and why is it important?
Yes. So I would say self care means to me, it's kind of hard to honestly put it in words. Because while I do think self care is putting yourself first, it's also knowing when to put yourself second as well to whatever it is, right?
Okay.
Um, and why do I say that? One, the world doesn't revolve around us. Like I know we're in this entire trend of like self-care, go on dates, get a spa, go do this, go do that. And I'm like, sometimes self-care can be actually, serving someone else to do something, right? Or serving someone else, whether that's listening, whether that's physically doing something. Um, it's honestly about what you need at that moment. I don't think self-care is like a one size fit all. It's what you need at a moment. A self-care could literally be sometimes you just, all right, I'm gonna close the laptop for 5 minutes and then I'm gonna open it back up. And or self-care can be I'm gonna go, travel. Or I'm gonna go call my friend. It's so many different things and they serve different purposes. So did they answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
So why is that important to be able to serve someone else, to be able
Mhm.
to obtain your level of self care, or what is it? Tell us that.
For me, I feel like it this time in my life, I have learned that I get more fulfillment when I serve others versus serving myself. Like, yes, it feels good to go get that pedicure, that, go on that trip. But it's something about when you do something for others and they smile, they appreciate it, or, you see that it helps them. That fulfillment is everything. And honestly, that's a part of the self care for me, is just it's one of those intangible things, I guess. And I always want to feel like whatever I'm doing in life is actually serving a purpose versus just being something that, social media said I should go do.
Look, so Amber is out here, y'all, and she is impacting people's lives,
Period.
right? But
Hmm.
but also that comes from, you know, um, the Bible says to take care of others. It
Hmm.
says to uplift others. So it's like, you did that. So good. So very good. So it's like, you kind of touched on, it's like in the world we live in, society tends to value the busyness and the
Hmm.
needs, and the need to like have an accomplishment, right?
Right.
So, how do you find yourself being able to balance being a woman, a girlfriend, a daughter, a businesswoman,
Mm-hmm.
a sister, a cousin, an auntie, a godmama? What
Yeah.
we hold so many titles to so
So
many
many
different
titles.
people. So
Uh-huh.
how do you manage your life in that aspect, all while taking care of others
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of yourself? Because the reality is, you can't pour from an empty cup.
At all. That answer is kind of like I guess a two answer in my opinion. So one is I take moments, whatever those moments look like, because they are very different. Whether it's a 2 minute moment, it's an hour moment, 2 day moment. I take moments and I take all of my hats off to just sit still and be me, whatever that looks like at that current phase in my life. What that looked like to be me at 20 is different what it looked like at 25, what it looked like at 30, etc. So I take a moment to take all the hats off and to understand what I am feeling like in this moment. Then the second part to that question is or second answer, I guess, is I balance it based off in this phase what should be prioritized based off of also my personal needs too. So, do I need to be more of a friend? Do I need to be more of a girlfriend, a wife, a daughter in this phase? What do I need to be more of? Because I know everybody talks about, like a holistic successful person does not have 100% in everything or area of life. Like that's physically impossible to have 100%
Sure.
in every part of life. And so, in the phases that you're in, you have to identify what's more important right now. Is it family? Is it the career? Is it whatever? So I think it's honestly just being honest with yourself and the people around you, what you actually want to prioritize and why you need to prioritize it. That's where that quote unquote balance comes into play.
Mm. I saw a post the other day, and the post said, "This year I won't feel guilty for taking care of me."
Okay.
And I was like, that kind of reminded me of those moments when it's like, when you hear people say, "I don't like to say no,"
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you feel like when you say no, you feel guilty for handling you,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? So, and then I know for some, not you, your neighbor, like they say in church, not you, your neighbor. Like, it's like you feel like if I don't take care of me, then how do you expect me to take care of somebody else? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
almost, it's like, but we have to remember that self-care is selfless, not
Yeah.
not selfish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then but but as we take that journey, as we travel down this road to like our whole self-care or self-care, because we say that self-care is soul care,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to be willing to dig in to get yourself a little bit more in tune with what God is saying to you. You got to get yourself a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more in tune with because if you can't hear from him, right?
Then who you listen to first of all? But it's like you also because right now we're in this whole era of like say no to this, say no to that. And I'm like, a part of why you all are in your current situation is because you're so focused on saying no. Some of those things you need to say yes to because you probably actually need those things, but you just think that it's and that's come from that discernment piece at that point of like, is this an opportunity where I really need to say no, or do I need to get uncomfortable and say yes to it because it can actually lead me further?
Ma'am.
Yes.
All right. So if it's going to lead you further, what are the steps you're taking to get to your
Right.
next stage? Yeah. What's how you level up?
How do you level up? I mean, so for instance, me specifically in 2023. So to tell you all, my word for 2023 is leverage. So the past few years, it has been learn, it has been apply, it has been activate, I mean, it's activator. But this particular year, it is leverage. And so, in order for me to do anything to level up, there has to be first a level of acknowledgement about how I feel, how I am operating in my daily life, right? Self-care comes into play. Once I acknowledge something, all right, what does it look like now for me to get to that next, stage of success?
Mm-hmm.
And a part of that is, for me, is having discernment in all areas of my life. So it's not just a relationship, but it is business. It is anything. It can literally be who I'm meeting. It can be literally anything. Having that level of discernment, but then also having the strength to take action and whatever that action is. Whether it's, and even if I have the fear and doubt, that's natural. I always tell people, like, everybody talk about eliminate fear, eliminate doubt. I personally think you should keep it, because that is adding fuel to your fire if you let it. And or it's going to, kill you, essentially.
But fear is a spirit though, right? It's a spirit. We technically not supposed to have it. Like it's something that we inhabit because that's what the world is like at us. They be like, oh,
Right. We're in the real world. Like, it is out there. But it's the difference is how you navigate it.
true. Like it's like I guess that's where Nike gets their whole slogan from. Just do it. You know what I mean? Like you
Just do
like
it, yeah.
yeah, it's like be scared, but still have faith enough to do it. Right? Like you
And
can't.
it's hard to have it though, because, like, let's be real. Like, some people watching this, I am sure that people, if they saw their favorite brand do something, that they didn't agree with, they trashed them on Twitter, to a friend, to whatever. This is where all this fear is coming from, because we see what happens to other people that makes a mistake. We're not in a world that, I guess, take a mistake and learn from it. We see somebody make a mistake and we bash them and put them down. That's where I feel like all this fear and doubt comes from, because it's like, I don't want to be like that.
Oh, no doubt. But then um it comes to a point where you have to be like, that's where that steadfastness,
Mhm.
that abounding comes from. It's like, I know that's what you said, right? But then I guess that's where that boldness comes from, when you're like, all right, well, I got this from God, and if you could be him, then holler at me. Like,
Yeah, and be okay with, like,
yeah,
um Pastor Stephen Ferdinand had a sermon one time just talking about how we assume everything that God. So technically, yes, everything works for the good, but
for
it
sure.
doesn't mean during the time it's going to feel good and or look good either. Like,
Absolutely.
there is a reason why you're going through it, and I feel like while we say that, people don't really believe that. They don't believe, why did you allow me to go broke? Why did you allow me to go bankrupt? Why did you allow me to have a divorce? There was something you're supposed to learn. Now, if you missed it, that was your choice, because he gave us a choice. But
You missing it is going to make you repeat the lesson.
make you repeat the lesson.
Yeah, because you're going to, until you figure it out, you're going to repeat the lesson until you get it. And it's
Yeah.
like, it reminds me of the really bad joke. I'm sure you've heard the joke when it's like, the man is on top of the roof because his neighborhood flooded, and he was like, oh no, and then a boat comes by, and he's like, no, I'm okay. God's going to rescue me. And then another boat comes by. He's like, no, 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 you go ahead. God's going to rescue me. And then here comes the helicopter because the water got a little higher. And the dude is like, yeah, yeah, come on. Come on. I got you. Let's go. He's like, no, no, no. God got me. He's going to rescue me.
Mhm.
And then the man dies because he drowned. Then when he get to heaven, God is like,
I said 3 of them. Like, I think we be
you're like,
forgetting.
you missed it. You
You
missed
literally missed it. We miss opportunities so much because, and honestly, I think that's a great example. It probably wasn't what he thought it was going to look like. The way we want our opportunities be the reason, be our downfall, essentially.
Agreed, 100%. You have to find yourself in a place, but that's why it's important to be tuned in all the time,
Mhm.
right? Like if you're not tuned in all the time to be like, all right, like if somebody asks you a question and you're like, some things you can answer immediately, right? If it doesn't align with the will of God, you're not going to be like, let me think about that. I might be able to do that. Like it's an, it should be an automatic no if it doesn't align,
Right.
right?
Should be.
Um, because I know for me at this stage of the game, I really can't do nothing that don't align because if I try it and it do, I'm either go like for real talk. Like some people can run lights and they don't get caught and get tickets. I can run a light
And
and it's
get
gonna be like, like,
right. Or they now they got the cameras on the top and it's gonna shoot. I'm gonna get the picture in the mail. Like, darn it.
right. Like it's like, yo, I'm like, I can't even chance that kind of stuff anymore. Like it don't make sense to like lie about the stupid stuff or to lie, period. But you know what I'm saying? Like all
with
of
the
that stuff.
with the alignment, like I want people to realize, like, because I know that's still something that I'm learning as I go on my journey is understanding what does alignment look like to me and defining it, because you have to realize to figure out if something is aligned, it's going to appear different all of the time. And so that's where that discernment comes back, that patience come into play. Like you don't automatically have to make decisions on the spot. Like take some
Mhm.
time and
Yeah.
let them
And
talk to you.
yeah, and it's like, and I know people will try to use use it against you to say, man, she's slow, she indecisive, she's
Mhm.
no, I'm strategic and I'm
Right.
calculated. You
Agreed.
know, I'm not misguided in my thought process.
Correct.
I'm here to make sure I'm hearing correctly. I'm here to make sure I'm making the best decision for my life. If this is this, even though this door has opened up, is this the one that God wants me to walk through?
Because
Is
every door is not for you. It looks good, but that
yeah,
literally could distract you.
is that what I'm supposed to do? And I think it's important for us to be able to understand, you know, that level of communication that needs to happen, right? So tell me, with all of that though, even in those moments when you are busy, right? So how do you stay productive even in your downtime of rest?
Yep.
How are you still able to produce fruit when you're in your downtime of rest?
So I love, honestly, I'm pretty simple. I love just going places that inspire me. So one place that inspired me is going to the lake. Like, my God, being by some water, hearing some birds chirp.
The water.
Like the water does everything. Or sometimes it might be, so like today, I like to go places that will become my reality one day. So if I'm, near the penthouses, if I am by these beautiful homes, if I'm by wherever, I like to go places that remind me of why I am doing what I'm doing now so that I can get there. That is some of the best self-care, to like just surround myself with what I am trying to become. That makes sense.
Yeah. So what are some of the nuggets you could drop for us that'll be like, I'm working on engaging my spirit life more, that I want to be closer to God in. So what are some of those actionable steps that you're taking to
Mhm.
build upon to build your self-care, to your soul care
So to be,
lifestyle?
yeah, I would honestly say one of the things is I committed to something. So like for me, I committed to going to the gym like 2 to 3 times a week. And while it may not look like anything to the other person, for me, this is my way of like, God, I am being serious as to I want to get close to you and learn from you and like trust you and all of these things. I'm going to commit to this thing because I know as I commit, I'm going to be learning through this process. There are going to be days I'm tired, I don't want to work out or whatever it might be, but I'm going to call on you to give me the strength to get through it. And that's going to be a reminder to keep going. So it is committing to something. Um, yeah, and like I said, I did exercise. It is taking a step back and like if an opportunity is presented, whether it's go to the bar or this business idea, take a step back to
Mm-hmm.
evaluate that, right? Or take a step back to actually ask God, hey, so and so just said this. I need you to talk to me, give me a sign or something that I need to even press forward.
Mm-hmm.
So having that patience and stepping back. I want to give you one more. What do I do? I actually a big actionable step that I do is every day literally I at least have like 10 to 30 minutes of silence. Whether I am in my home, I'm in the car, I'm in somewhere, I have a moment of silence.
Do
Because
you do it in the first thing in the morning, or do you do it multiple times throughout the day?
it's just whenever I can. Because I can't, for me specifically, I cannot dedicate. And that's actually how I've learned this over the years as well. For me specifically, if I'm going to do this every time in the morning or at night in the day, it ain't going to happen because something else is going to pop up. So I like to give myself that grace and flexibility to be like, as long as it gets done, that is a win. I still committed to getting the job done. Me personally, I don't want to put a time or deadline on it because I know it ain't gonna happen. As soon as if I say I want to do this every day at 9 p.m. If I'm at a bar, I'm staying at that bar. Let's be honest. Like I'm gonna be real. So having that moment of silence, I don't know, you'll be surprised how your mind is gonna start racing, but eventually it's going to calm down because you're just gonna start hearing yourself and hearing him and other things, but you're going to know what to listen to and what to not. It's just like a practice thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely is a practice thing. Like I didn't always, even for me, I didn't always do it. Like it becomes a thing. Like now, I can literally am up like 5:30. Right. I just am like I'm literally up.
Yeah.
When I'm like, all right, well, if I'm up, then clearly I'm up for a reason.
'Cause I'm asleep. But sometimes
So
he will wake you up for you to not necessarily do anything, but just sit still and listen.
yeah, for sure. So I find myself in those moments, and it's become daily. It's prayer. It's writing. Like I keep the journal. I keep my journal by my bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And making sure you all like, as we're talking about this, because people talk about pray and journaling, things like that. For me specifically, I'm not putting when I do it. It's when the feeling and the urge happens. That's when I do it.
Yeah, I mean, it
But
don't.
people do not know
It's,
that.
well, okay.
A lot of people
I
think
think it
when
needs
we
to be.
say
I think it
stuff
needs to
like
be
that.
taught. I agree. I think
Yeah.
it needs to be taught. Everything isn't for everybody. Doesn't have that form of structure,
Right.
so you have to be able to allow them to say, "All right, well, sometimes you morning by morning, new mercies I see." Right. So if I woke up this morning, then I'm a take him and I'm like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Right.
A simple thank you. Sometimes he'll wake you up and be like, I just need you to see you say thank you. Like it,
Yeah.
but do
Like
it naturally.
I'm not ungrateful for being here. I'm not, right? But okay, so that pushes me into my next question. Like you're a businesswoman, you got consulting sessions popping off, you got marketing intensive, you got a whole virtual conference and a conference coming,
Mm-hmm.
right? We all know that starting businesses can be challenging and overwhelming, and I know we can sometimes find ourselves looking at it to the negative because we find ourselves in a frustrating place,
Right.
right? But I believe the beauty in the struggle,
Okay.
right? It's like because
It'd be so funny when people say starting a business is hard, and I'd be like, I was like, is marriage easy? They'd be like, no. Okay, well, you did that. Is going to get your college degree, was that easy? No. Oh, okay, cool. You did that. I'm like, you just choose your heart based off what your values are.
for sure it becomes one of those things where it's like and it's not, sometimes you just have, I think perspective shifts are
Hmm.
required.
I'm like, are having
Right?
kids easy? No, but you had them and you love it.
Yeah. Some people just really think that it's just like, but some real talk. You hear people say it all the time. Oh yeah, I started a business, but real talk, you probably should not have.
Yeah, it's like starting a business not for everybody. Just like having kids is not for everybody. Getting married is not for everybody. Starting a business is not for everybody. It is a certain person that is willing to take a risk, because that's all we do on a daily basis is we take risks, but we are only able to take risks because we are so confident in ourselves that we're going to find another solution. And that's all within our soul care and self-care. We know that if this quote unquote fails, we can literally find an alternative. And some people cannot do that, and that's okay. I fail all the time, and I'm gonna figure out something else.
So, but that's called failing forward.
Failing forward.
You know, excuse me. It's like one of those things where you can jump, and because you're jumping, because even though you can't see the trampoline, the trampoline is down there getting ready to catch
Right.
you.
Like you sit on a seat, a chair every day in full confidence that it's gonna hold you up.
Yeah, that's faith. That's
Here,
faith.
that is a daily practice of faith. You get in your car knowing that it's going to turn on. You have faith in your car.
Or the fact that you're leaving your house, that you will return to your home.
Return. Right.
Yeah, and that's a real thing. Like before the holidays, a friend of mine lost his mother,
Hmm.
and it was out of the blue, right? Um, she just didn't wake up,
Yeah, it's the thing.
and we hear about those things all the time. Like a few months back, we heard about the pastor and his wife went to bed, and then he rolled over and she was choking, and he didn't know what was
Breathe.
happening, and
Mm-hmm.
all because she got hit by a stray bullet in the top of
In
her
the house.
head.
Yeah.
So it's like you just never know, right? You don't take. It's like even though you're at home, like my my grandmother used to say, "You don't need to be in the street late at night. Ain't nothing open but legs and 7-Eleven."
I mean, she right. But life is a risk every day. It's just some people like I don't know. It amazes me how content. Even so, for Thanksgiving, I gave I did fed the homeless. And so we were talking to some of them, and they're like, oh, I've been homeless for years, even though they go to like, certain like a South mission or whatever to get food, things like that. And I'm like, okay, are you working towards not, being homeless, something better? And
Hmm.
they're like, no, they're content with how their life is, and
Some of
that's
them are. Hmm.
yeah, and it's really interesting, because I can't judge you on whatever assignment he gave you. I don't know, even though it looks weird in my eyes, but I can't judge you on that, but I think you have to like that's going deeper into your self-care and your soul care and knowing what your purpose is. I'm not to say their purpose was to be homeless, but like they also may just have decided not to fulfill their purpose.
Yeah, like we used to go out and serve in those capacities. It was just crazy. Like a lot of the people, not crazy, but it was interesting that most people we would talk to, especially the men, were, I don't want to be a burden to my family.
Yeah,
You
but I'm
know,
like you're a burden to yourself. Like
I'm gonna figure it out. But how long have you been out here? Oh, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Do your family know where you are? Does your family know where you are? No. Do you know how to reach them? Yeah. You don't think your children want to know where you are? Well, I don't want to be a burden. So it becomes a little bit of pride.
for sure,
It
pride.
becomes,
Yes,
yeah, it
ego.
becomes a little bit of, I took care of them to be who they are, and I don't want them to have to take care of me. So, and a little bit of it for them, it feels like that's their way of loving them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so then one day I was like, so what if we called your family? How would you feel if we called your family? And he was like, you would help me call my family? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody ever said that to him before.
Yep.
Hundreds of people had literally come over the years to feed him, to feed them, right?
Right.
But nobody ever was like, let me help you get your ID so you can get a bus ticket. Let
Right.
me call your family for you, you know? And it was we were with them a few weeks until everything got situated. And his daughter, she had a husband, she had kids, you know, it was like I felt like I was watching a Lifetime movie, girl.
I mean, you really were. You're some. He, for some reason at that moment he trusted you to help him in that moment. Um, and yeah, you brought them together, which is great.
Yeah, and it was like you don't have to be out here, but it was
Some
interesting.
people choose to though.
Yeah, it is. It's like if you out here, then you out here. So we gonna pray for you. We gonna give you this plate, and I'm gonna give you this Bible, and this is where the church is, and you can come holler at us when you get ready. If you get ready,
Yeah,
if
but
not,
that's the if you want to get ready, if
yeah, that's the wonderful thing about God and His free will.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the perfect thing about Him and His free
all have choices,
will.
and he already know what choice we're gonna make. So
We don't always know until we in it.
don't somebody he knows. We ain't gonna.
Oh, you talking about God knows?
Yeah, God knows the choice we're gonna make. We don't know, like I said, until we in it.
Oh, facts. I'm like, wait. I don't know. I'm
There's
like,
so many decisions I need to make now, and I'm just like, I don't know what they're gonna look like, but we finna see how 2023 go.
facts. I'm here for 2023. I pray I live through 2023 so I
Yeah.
can see how things turn out.
Hmm.
Because I'll be like, wait a minute.
We're gonna be toasting to 2024. Then we done crushed 2023 goals. It's fine. We're gonna make it. Yup.
Somebody cue the music. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. We
Wait, stop.
we are cutting up right now. Okay.
This is what we do, guys.
Okay. Okay. So, um, I'm gonna tell you. I think did I don't remember, but so we usually talk about this whole thing about we like to leave the people with 3 actionable steps to practice getting from who you are today and then who you'll be tomorrow. So it's those steps you take to love and elevate the inner you, right?
Okay.
So what are those three? I'm gonna share. You share 3 for you, and I'm gonna share 3 for me.
And ask the question one more time. So I can make sure.
Give me 3 actionable steps that take care of your inner you.
3 actionable steps to take care of inner you. One, I would say I want you to write down um everything that you have went through in your life. So whether that was a death, a divorce, kids, I got my master's degree, my bachelor's degree, whatever. I want you to write those things down and look at, wow, I made it because I am here now, right? I want you, because it's going to be a reminder that you were able to get through stuff. 2, I want you to write down, who do you believe that you will become? Whatever those traits are, those characteristics, what you will be doing, where you'll be living, whatever that looks like, just write it down. And then from a number 3 actionable step is take some of those things that you are trying to become and put yourself in it. So if and I'm just making things up, but if you say you want to become a wife, right? What does it look like on a daily basis for you? Start acting like that. What traits and characteristics will you be doing, right? What are you thinking about? If you want to live in a penthouse, right? What type of person is living in a penthouse that can afford the penthouse, that can furnish their penthouse? Like putting yourself in that mental mindset. Because after a while, that's going to elevate your inner self. So
What was the third? What was you said?
the first one,
You said document the wins and losses.
yeah, document the wins and losses. Number 2 is basically document or write down your future self, your future being. What does that look like? What do you be doing?
Okay.
And then the third one is now go put yourself in that environment. Where does it already exist?
Hmm.
Because I mean, it's gonna be real hard for you not, and I'm just making this stuff up, but if you meet, a person that makes six figures and they're gonna introduce you to another person that makes six figures. Eventually, you're gonna eventually make six figures because you're not gonna want to be the only person in there that's just making 40 grand a year. You can be
Mhm.
like, how did y'all make six figures? Let me figure it out.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you, that girl.
I see you.
Ooh, I like the pop
Mhm.
up. I like the pop up. That's cute.
Right. Ain't that fire? Production is a wonderful thing.
I like that. But yeah, I think that will be my actionable steps to really help you understand better who you are internally and how externally you can show that. Honestly,
Mhm. That's good. I like it. Then there's your third one. Take
yes.
notes, people. Take
Take
notes,
notes. Like
people.
that's literally what I do when I go to coffee shops. Sometimes, depending on what it is, I'm strategically going to a place whether the coffee shop is in a high end, apartment or it's overlooking something. Like I want to be surrounded with people or just in the environment so that I can get there.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's like, ooh, come on. So for me, my three steps are I I'm going to rest and reflect.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rest because I know that I can continually go and go and go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can find myself in a resentful space if I don't ever take time to just sit down.
It's real.
Right? Like, so, and then to reflect, I think it's something in this. I like to be by the water.
The water is it for me. The water
Like,
is it.
the lake, the river, the ocean, the beach, the sand, the horizons, the sunsets, all of it. Like it's just something about the refreshing that it provides. Like
It's
for you to be able to hear and listen is so open and freeing. It just
open,
gives you,
freeing. I feel like water is not complicated, but it's complex because the top can be so, crazy, but the bottom is so calm, right? And the
yeah,
water can go as deep as it want to go or not. Like it's everything.
yeah. In my reflection, I find myself um, being able to hear God more clearer, and then I know that if I can hear Him, then I know, and if I can respond to Him, then I know He'll answer me. I
Yeah,
know He will, right? I know He will, and I got marvelous. He got marvelous and wonderful things waiting on me. What?
for sure.
And I want them, and I want them, and I want them all.
And he's literally just saying, but you got to be okay with how it starts and what it looks like.
Now you preaching.
Because that's what we don't like. I'm look. I know like the stuff how this stuff is starting. Like I love to always reference Tyler Perry. Like his start was crazy. This man was living in his car, but he knew for a fact it is temporary. He knew for a fact that God got him, but he had to go through those years of obedience. We say we obedient, if like, and I'm not saying God wants us to be homeless or whatever, but sometimes for whatever reason that is in His plan in order for you to get to the next step.
For sure, for sure. My next step is we gonna pray. We gonna pray, girl. That's the big one. We gonna pray because
And
that's
believe
your
in your prayer, because some people out here just praying. Then that's a different conversation. Like they pray just because someone told them to, but you have
yeah.
to
That's
believe in your
another. That's a look. Prayer only happens. Listen, prayer happens out of relationship. Period. It's like, and I try to put it in like real life perception perspectives for people
prayer.
to be like, yo, if your cousin called you today and you ain't talked to your cousin in 10 years, and he asked you for $100, are you really going to respond? Are you going to respond to that?
Right. Probably not. Let's realistically.
Yeah. So why do you think that God will?
Like you only want me when you need me. Like, well, not necessarily when you need, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
you get
It's,
something out
it's,
of me.
I mean, granted, he grants us a level of grace.
Right.
No doubt about it. You know, he is absolutely a loving father. But at the same token, he's like, yo, listen here. Don't use me.
Yeah. Don't use me.
You
Agreed.
know, don't take me for granted.
Agreed.
You know, because but then you be mad at your boyfriend if he don't tell you thank you because you made him food.
You didn't even tell the person that even allowed you to have a boyfriend, allowed you to have a home, allowed you to have everything else. You need to tell him thank you.
Ooh, you ungrateful, wretched, uncircumcised Philistine.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying.
I had to put my hat down for you.
Okay. And then my final thing is that I'm going to eat and I'm going to eat well.
Meaning,
I'm going to eat. I'm
what,
going to eat.
what does that mean? Tell us.
So it's like, I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat well. So it's like you gain, you gain replenishments from being able to, you know, don't just be like, oh, I'm a self-care my life together, and I'm gonna go get Five Guys, and I'm gonna go and hang out and by the beach and eat nachos smothered in blah blah blah, you know, smothered in olives and cheese and all the those are all the favorite things. I am not gonna deny us. I love a good Mexican smorgasbord. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I do. At the same token, though, when it's time to be able to listen, sometimes you gotta cleanse yourself so
Mm-hmm.
you can eat well. You know, all of the wonderful juices and fruits, especially if you in the beach. You know, Listen, I want all the pineapples and papayas you got. Thank you.
I want it all.
I
Oh
want
yeah,
it
pineapple.
all. I want it all. I want to eat.
I want all my good girl shrimp,
Yeah,
blackened shrimp.
all of it. I want to eat well, and I want to replenish and restore myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can come home and feel like, because you know, nothing is worse than um, going on a vacation or a staycation, and then you coming back and you still tired.
Oh my gosh, oh yeah, I've had those days or those times for sure. I'd be like, did I? When I supposed to relax?
Yeah,
And I
and
come back more tired.
correct. That is absolutely correct. So we don't want to do that. That's not what self care is. That's not how you wind down and win.
Right.
You know, you did more harm than good at that point. You didn't do what what was required at the moment. But you know what? We are coming to the final moments of our episode of our session.
Okay.
And if you have any final thoughts for the people,
Final
please do so, ma'am.
final thoughts. Really be intentional about your soul this year. Not just, self-caring from a worldly view, but from an internal view. What is really in your soul, and are you really operating in it? Or are you just trying to get by? Are you having those same excuses of, I got kids, I got a husband, I got these bills? You're gonna stay in that same situation because you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's all I got for you.
Well, I pray some of y'all didn't get y'all feelings hurt too bad, but that's the truth though. Gotta do. You have to dig in a little deeper to what God is saying to you, what He wants for you, and He wants you to remember who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, and until you can identify with who you are, your
It ain't gonna
purpose,
work out.
yeah, your purpose will go unmatched
Yeah.
and unfulfilled.
Man, to live unfulfilled, oh my good. It's so many people that live unfulfilled every single day. And I've had days where I felt unfulfilled, and I'm like, how do y'all do this?
Yeah, it's hard. That's I'm gonna say this. I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it because we're gonna get off because it's been 45 minutes at this point. It doesn't even feel like it.
Mm,
And I will say this is that that's pretty much why Lemon Honey was started, right? It was because I felt a way about me.
mm,
You know, it was a whole movement about I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to feel less than or unworthy or unmovable or but I was like, that's a lie. That's a lie. I'm indeed worthy.
right.
I'm worthy. I'm valuable. I'm
Oh,
secure. I'm bold and I'm cute too,
you are.
Yes, I am cute, honey. So it's like, listen. So all those things. I was like, yo, it became a movement of being able to take care of myself and willingness to take care of someone else.
Correct.
And this is the inner workings of taking care of us from the inside out. And our skincare in and of itself is taking care of us from the outside in.
For sure.
So so that's who we are and what we do. But I do thank you all for watching and joining with us this evening. And you can catch us next Tuesday with our next guest. And if you didn't already know, this episode was sponsored by Lamb and Honey.
I love it. Make sure y'all go lemonhoney.com because this is
Yes,
how I got my glow.
yes. What did you use?
So this one is Trinity. I used Trinity this morning, and it's
Ooh.
still here.
And
So
you're glowing. You still glowing all day?
I'm cute. I mean, that's what you do. I
What?
can't help that. God touched this, and the Trinity just added it. So I can't. Here we are.
Well, that's what you know. So once again, Amber, we thank you for the time you spent with us. And again, this soul care session was provided by Lamb and Honey, where we are geared towards loving the inner loving. Mm.
Mm.
Why I can't talk today? So we're geared toward illuminating the outer you while loving and elevating on the inner you. And we thank you for watching with us today. Have a great night.